Today's video includes a turtle, so we can officially make Am I Not Turtly Enough for the Turtle Club jokes all video long. Enjoy. Hello folks, Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video, and today Neodim has given us a sweet deck list. It is yet another Birthing Ritual list, but this one's going to feature a few cards that we haven't seen on the channel yet. This card is awesome. This is our birthing pod for the new generation. At the beginning of your end step, if you control a creature, look at the top 7 cards of your library. Then you may sacrifice a creature. If you do, you may put a creature card with mana value X or less from among those cards onto the battlefield, where X is 1 plus the sacrificed creature's mana value. Then you put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So Phantasmal Shieldback is very, very cute here. When it dies, you draw a card. You can sacrifice it to your birthing ritual, change it into a creature that will give you value on ETB, and then also draw a card. You'll notice that this deck list is kind of tight. For the most part, it is stopping at Abhorrent Oculus, and that is just the way that this deck intends on winning the game. This is a 5/5 that makes more friends every single, at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep. So you are going to make this probably at your end step and immediately get another 2/2 worth of value out of it. And potentially you could get another Oculus out of this itself. And the tokens that you make with it could then potentially even be transformed into a Phantasmal Shieldback to keep going back up that birthing ritual chain yet again. And the deck can of course do something like play a Quantum Riddler for 2 mana via Warp, and then stack the birthing ritual trigger so that it resolves before the warp out trigger, so that you could sacrifice this to birthing ritual and then get something else for your value. This is a little lighter on creatures than some of the other birthing ritual lists that I have played, as this one is making room for Daze and Force of Will, as well as Brainstorm and a few other utility spells here and there. So we'll kind of see how this plays out. This one is only 2 colors, though, so we can really get away with playing a lot of things that look like this that have double colored pips without it phasing us too much. I don't think I have too much to say about the sideboard here, other than the fact that Phantasmal Image is a bit of a spicy one that we don't see very often. So I think I'm just going to roll directly into the matches here. Folks, at MagicCon Vegas, I'm going to be getting some cards from TOAMagic.com. I always enjoy looking through their cases, and if you want to order online and pick it up in advance, order online in advance and pick it up on site. I highly recommend doing so, rather than trying to hunt down all sorts of stuff in the vendor hall. Use promo code ThrabenU. Save yourself a little bit on the order. All right, let's battle. All right, I'm not really excited about my opening hand, but we presumably have a bunch of looks at our birthing rituals and friends. I can't remove creatures, right? That's just like kind of not a thing that I do. That's mostly not a thing that I do, which probably means that I Force of Will this. Let's do that. Pitching a Brainstorm with the intention of dazing the next thing that my opponent does. Are these just shadowy turtles? These are shadowy turtles. Well, fuck me. All right. Well, that can't be countered. Glad I used my Force of Will already. So this lives here. My counterspells are off for the rest of the game. I think I'm going to Brainstorm with the intention of fetching this Daze away. All right. Yeah. Kind of the wrong color fetch land, but so be it. Man, I am not going to have too many fetchables of each type, huh? Let us coil. I hit a land. Cool. So I do have Ice-Fang Coatl as a thing that can remove creatures. I don't like this. My counterspell deck is going to have a real sad time versus Hexing Squelcher and Voice of Victory both. So we coil, hit Force of Will. That's a dead card. So now I'm just going to do this purely as a redraw. All right, there's an Ice-Fang Coatl. I do have the 3 lands. I do have to telegraph this ahead of time, though, unfortunately. Warp out. I don't have any sort of Toxic Deluge, Wrath of the Skies style card for this matchup. I expect that I'm in trouble here. Like, I just conceptually do not know what I am supposed to do to win this matchup if counter spells are the primary way that I want to be interacting with decks like this. Like, I want to counter all their stuff and then, like, make up for my early 2-for-1s with cards that look like this. But I'm just getting absolutely brutalized here. I'll take all this, I guess. I'm at 8. Sunbaked Canyon cycles. Those things go away. I think I need another Ice-Fang. That's not another Ice-Fang. Yeah. I guess I'll play this out. I suspect that I'm dead without, like, mathing it out. I imagine that my opponent, oh god, is just going to gain enough energy where at least 8 power worth of flyers, good god, gets through. I just, at this point, want to see how much damage my opponent does this turn through my blockers. Because this is going to be 6 energy on attack, 2 tokens, times 3 copies of Guide of Souls. My opponent is at 35 life, can make 3 new things flying. Honestly, it's just impressive, right? So, like, we could go and kill one of these. We could kill the biggest one and still take 4, 7, 8, 9, 10 in the air, not accounting for that. Good stuff. GG. So, I need Dismembers. Does paying 3 mana for a 3/4 body make sense? I don't know that that does. That doesn't feel great. My opponent is going to come out of the gate so quickly. Like, I could play Image, it would be medium. I could play Harbinger, try to get a free one off my opponent's mana being bad. I don't love my options here. I think this is just a compare deck to compare deck. We lose this one at the deck building stage. And this is where not having access to that bonus color matters a lot. So I could keep this one and sacrifice the Shieldback to counter a spell. I don't have both of my colors for Coiling Oracle here. I don't have cards in Graveyard for Oculus. I don't know that this actually ends up lining up better than something like a Birthing Ritual draw, which this is not. I think we just believe in Brainstorm to fix this. I don't like this. Like, the tempo cost of casting the Brainstorm is probably relatively high here, because it means that I can't cast any of my 2-drops immediately. Alright, Flare of Denial is interesting. Combat? Yeah. And I think I will just pass here. There's some considerations to, like, which fetch land do I play there. I valued the basic land over potentially surveilling. Alright. 6 life to answer that card. NBD. Brainstorm. None of those cards are Birthing Ritual. 8 that. I don't know that I get to do both Dismembers. I really want to find the Birthing Ritual and sacrifice this. Maybe this is me funneling too much in one direction. Get a forest. I'm going to go ahead and do this now. I will have to pay 2 more life. I will have to let Mr. Percy in the room. And we're good. And we're good. Well, Flare of Denial came back. So I will warp. Alright. Just fully not what I am looking for. Arid Mesa comes down. I think I have a Surveil land. I think I have 1 Hedge Maze. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Brainstorm. That is better than the average draw. I will certainly take that. I think I'm just going to go ahead and Flare of Denial, draw the Brainstorm, and then kind of hope to put something together from here. Oh, am I getting Pyroblasted? I'm getting Pyroblasted. So I could now force. It will be worth 2 cards. And then I just try to refuel with Riddler. I will accept this. Doesn't feel good. I'm already at 11 because of Dismember on Hexing Squelcher. This is why I put the other Dismember away. Classic Birthing Ritual timing. Sand Scout is fine. You may have your quarry. Wasteland is legitimately annoying here. Goodbye, Hedge Maze. Let's find a creature, get Birthing Ritual started. Hey! Coiling Oracle. Reveals another Birthing Ritual. Alright. Big moment. Burrow's a weird hit. I think I just do it, despite the awkwardness there, and just take the 3 life and redraw. Alright. Did not hit a land. Pass turn. Ugh. Alright. Don't love this. This is exceptionally bad for me. So I will take 3. And the cat goes bye-bye to flip the Planeswalker. No red permanent as of right now. New Sand Scout. There's a cat. Is this red? Oh, it is. Sand Scout has so infrequently actually made the token that I didn't actually know that. So this Caracas is rough. I think we're going 1-2 for Ice-Fang. Drawing a card. Go to 6. Pick up another basic land. And we just need a crazy string of things here at the end of the turn. So, Birthing Ritual trigger number 1. Alright. I sacrifice the Ice-Fang. Do Ice-Fang again. Draw a card. And then I miss there. I am certainly just dead to the Ajani ability. Rough. Is there enough mana to just make this deterministic already? Probably with that. Oh, the Sand Scout fetch does it. That's just enough creatures for the 0 ability to go to face. That was a landslide victory in my opponent's favor. GG. Today's video is sponsored by moxfield.com. If you're looking to store your decks online, you're not going to find a better website. It's super organized and easy to use, and I sort everything that I do into a ton of format-specific folders, and you can customize the way that you use Moxfield to your liking. Whether you like text views or visual views of multiple different natures, Moxfield has it all. And it's so easy to use, you might even say that it's a snap. This is certainly one of the legacy hands of all time. I can play Phantasmal Shieldback and Flare of Denial spell, draw a card, and then do it again. Is that good? Doesn't feel good. Feels like it's going to miss its land drops and die. Alright. Alright. We don't get to cast our blue-green hybrid cards to fuel Birthing Ritual with this. So if I don't counter this, it's in play for the rest of the game. I think that means I counter it, but that sets me up so poorly versus a Daze. And potentially I just let that go and try to counter something like a Corey Steelcutter later on. That just might be the better way to play this. Some people have been getting saucy with Stifles recently. I'm going to wait on this Misty Rainforest because I care about things like opposing Wasteland, so I don't want to just surveil sorcery speed. But I hope I do not get punished for that. That one I'm going to let resolve. I would not mind a blue card off of this surveil. Land is okay. Land is okay. So, I think I am casting the Birthing Ritual now, and then hoping to play Riddler around Daze next turn. And that did not happen. So is this fully the way that I am winning this game? Probably. 8 this. This gives me the opportunity to get lucky and hit a creature and start spiraling the game out of control. I will eat 3 damage here. I'm at 14 already. Force Misty plus an attack adds up pretty quickly. 8 that. So now the blue-green hybrid cards are off the table. I have used my Surveil land already. I'm not a happy camper. All I need to do is stick one lovely idiot, and we probably beat this card. The question will then be, can I beat a Murktide Regent or whatever that comes afterwards? I'm not sure if the answer to that question is yes. Or a Steelcutter potentially scarier than Murktide. Going wide of me probably represents a lot of damage. Yep. Ooh, this is a fast clock. That's not great. I don't know what I am supposed to do here. It may just be play this tapped rather than use it as a spell and potentially be able to do a hard cast Oculus around a daze. Everything is scary here. Like a Force of Will backing up my opponent's stuff is so strong. A Lightning Bolt removing my creature before a Birthing Ritual trigger is so strong. In the post-sideboard games, I'll have a pile of Endurances to help with DRCs and Murktides. I'm just taking 6 for right now. Feels like I'm dead to so much stuff. Alright. Yeah. This is 4. 2 mana Coiling Oracle. Am deterministically dead to a Force of Will on this. Alright. It is a land. So now I need this to make it to the end of turn. Didn't happen. But I've done better here. I guess I could have Wastelanded Volcanic Island in main 1, played Coiling Oracle in main 2. I don't know that that solves the problem. It gives me a Birthing Ritual trigger, and then I block. The Birthing Ritual probably gives me Endurance. I junk the graveyard. I take 1 damage from an attacker and die to Lightning Bolt. Yeah, I don't know that I'm getting out there. GG. I am interested in a pile of Endurances. I am probably less interested in my counter spells here. I don't want to pick up my lands because I want to make land drops and eventually start playing Endurances and Uros and Riddlers around a daze. Dismember is not ideal removal here. I'm still probably playing it. Go down a little on Flare of Denial? Question mark. I could also play Phantasmal Image. I think I'm more excited about that in Dimir matchups where copying Bowmasters is a real thing. I am not impressed by my opening hand. Hopefully Brainstorm fixes it. Let's play a turtle and pass turn. I think I am trying to stay on entirely basics this game. Actual Factual Delver of Secrets making an appearance. Very awkward if I dismember that and it gets dazed. Yeah. Oh, these cards suck. All right. You, and then one of these 2 lands. I think I'm going to go Boseiju. Fetch preemptively. I think I'm not going to dismember into daze here. Alrighty. Delver should now flip. Thing. I will eat 3. We do not get rewarded for trying to leave this back as a blocker. Delta comes down. And the Ponder is fine. I'm just glad to not see another threat here. Coiling Oracle is okay. Let's attempt to kill the Delver. Get another land. I am okay with this card getting dazed. This is a very low impact card unless I have a Birthing Ritual. I hit a Wasteland. Do I use that? I maybe just use that. I'm trying to get 6 cards in the graveyard. And then this is 5. Misty Rainforest is 6. And that's an Oculus around a daze for next turn. This is fine. No Pyroblast open immediately either. And Counterspell back up? Hell yeah. Get the other snow-covered island for stability. All 6 cards from graveyard. There's Force of Will. My opponent can Surveil. Here is Flare of Denial. Sacrificing my turtle. I will draw a card while countering. Endurance is solid. All right. I now feel pretty good about this game. I think it matters which one of these I pick. In case you're not familiar with this, I get a 2/2 creature out of these. If it's a creature, I can turn it face up for its mana cost. All right, and Oculus just instantly won that game when it resolved. GG. Notably, we are at just 10. Like, the chip damage is real. Do I want more Flare of Denial for the next game? I'm not overly crazy about that in the face of Pyroblasts. Maybe the game is just about fully resolving 1 copy of Oculus and letting it solo the game. I don't know that it's always going to be that easy. Hey, Oculus with a counterspell backup. We'll take it. All right, love to see the ETB tapped land rather than a turn 1 creature. I'll fully take that every day. Bobble as well for the first time this match. Redraw. Oculus number 2. I think I'm intending on pitching the shield back to Force of Will as of right now, so I'm just not going to play that card. Gut feeling says that this would be a decent brainstorm to Force of Will. I'm not going to do it. Oh, that's not great for my opponent. Do I Surveil Land? Surveil Land seems okay. I want cards in graveyard specifically for Oculus. Sure. There's land drop. I'm fine casting this now. Wow, super punished for not making or for playing this like around days. I'll put one Oculus back into the deck, put Sink into Stupor on top, and pass there. I will potentially just redraw Sink into Stupor. I think I'm just good with that. I will eat that card with Endurance. I want to now fetch. It's kind of looking like a Tropical Island game. And I'm straight up just going to do this as a land. Pass turn and try to fuck with this card in combat. Not even really care if it gets countered. Absolutely. Opponent just desperately trying to hit land drops. In it comes. Here comes Endurance. There is a Daze. Totally fine forcing that. Opponent forces back. At which point things get a little more interesting. I think I just let that stack clear. This is going to be 5 cards in graveyard, and I'm only taking 1 here. So this land comes back down. I will wasteland that land. That'll be my 6th card in graveyard, and then I have Oculus with the ability to beat another Force of Will. There is my 5/5 flyer. There is another Force of Will. Riddler as a draw 2 seems fine. I will Force of Will right back. Alright. I will Manifest Dread. There's another Oculus, which is disgusting. This is exactly what I talked about in the deck tech. Okay, that was not a Pyroblast, which means that the DRC has to attack directly into my creature, which is great for me. No. I'm just going to go ahead and turn this face up. I think I just attack with 1 and keep the other face up. I just do this on my turn so that I can Manifest Dread twice. I just don't want to die to Delver attack into double Lightning Bolt. And so I will leave back 1 flyer. Alright, and we get that one. The second Oculus definitely helped there, but even just having Quantum Riddler as a draw 2 and then probably deploying a Birthing Ritual afterwards ends up probably being pretty strong there. Whew, GG. Okay, I don't think I'm going to keep the 6-lander. This next one is probably fine. Let's get rid of the Shieldback, keep the other cards. Does this pitch Brainstorm if I have to Force of Will? Alright. Might be doing the same matchup again. Maybe a Dimir version. Alright. So opponent just bobbled themselves to take a look at whether or not they wanted to keep their card, and now they get their redraw. I think I'm just going to intend on doing some basics this game, and I think I'm going to commit this Brainstorm to being Force of Will fodder. Orcish Bowmasters is a thing that exists that I would not like to get got by. Sure. That can just resolve. I've lost the Coiling Oracle. Alrighty. Do I get stifled? Not get stifled. Let's get one of these hanging out in exile and take a redraw when I know that Bowmasters is not a thing. Flare of Denial is not particularly good right now. Riddler can go to timeout. Opponent will fetch and presumably surveil, saying no to Force of Will. Alright, opponent is chilling. I like that. That means that I'm making land drops and my opponent isn't. Big fan of that. I will just pass the turn here. There's a Bowmasters. I'm fine brainstorming in response when we know that this can't hurt us. Coatl? Coatl is fine. 2 lands. Fetch. 3rd basic. Attempt to throw this down. Flare. Or just force. Force gets extra cards out of hand and leaves me with a Death Toucher. I am into that. We're just working towards Quantum Riddler endgame. My force can get forced. And then let's just counter this. Excellent. And again, we don't care if we hemorrhage resources because I am hopefully just working towards, nice, an end game where I have 2 Quantum Riddlers in play and I draw a ton of extra cards. 6/6 Murktide Regent. I want to do this off of blue-green. Take my redraw. Casting this around Bowmasters is fine. Ice-Fang Coatl is an okay pickup. I think I'm going 1, 2? Maybe 1, 2. Fetch the final basic land from my deck. And pass turn. I'll end up taking some amount of damage here, but then hopefully Ice-Fang Coatl saves me. The interesting thing is when I play it, I think I'm fine with now. Draw, Force of Will, not what I'm looking for. I did not hit the green source to be able to Endurance as well immediately, which is something that I did want. Unfortunate. Yeah. This is now 9 of 10. Got it. I don't think I'm going to stabilize here and get to the point where these are good. Oh shoot, there wasn't a land in the graveyard yet. That is the 10th point. I am fully just dead. GG. I'm interested in more copies of Endurance. I think I'm interested in Phantasmal Image for Bowmasters and probably Dismember for Bowmasters. This likely means that I'm going down some counter spells. Do I just, like, not? Bowmasters is already very good versus my Coiling, or sorry, my Ice-Fang Coatl Quantum Riddler Uro deck. Maybe I just simply say no to Brainstorm. I am in for this. This is a hand of Magic the Gathering cards. I just attempt to stick a Birthing Ritual, it gets countered, I stick another Birthing Ritual, and I hope to draw some land, but this has to be green to cast Birthing Ritual. This is sketch. I think most draws make this better, and I don't have to commit to fetching the green immediately on turn 1. This is weird. This should maybe just be a mulligan. I have a decent number of lands in this deck. Yuck. Sure. Cameo is a silly Magic the Gathering card. Let's get that out of here. Alright, well, the deck has decided to do one thing. Birthing Ritual with Force of Will backup. That is the one thing that we are doing. I don't counter if my opponent dazes here. I just cast another one next turn. And I attempt to use Force of Will to stop spiraling things. I probably don't Force of Will like another Goyf. Fuck. That's incredibly awkward. Like, this is how I win this game. Absolutely hate this. We have a creature that I can't quite cast yet, but I have stuck the Birthing Ritual. So that is presumably there for the remainder of the game. All right. So I think I am into wastelanding the Underground Sea and then playing the Shieldback in second main. Okay, that's fine. So this means there's not an island in play, which means that I stick the Birthing Ritual again, and then I play Shieldback next turn. No! My opponent knows the costs, right? Like, they have to keep every creature from sticking, or it represents very, very bad things. They're a tempo deck, so, like, yep. There is a good chance that they can keep me off balance for a couple of turns. But as this game goes on, the Daze type cards are going to become worse. Alright. Instant is already in there. So it's fine to attempt to dismember the Nethergoyf. It's the 4 that I would be taking anyway. Alright. That is out of the picture for now, unless we start running into escape stuff. Opponent will take a redraw. Yeah. Alright. Assuming no punish for this, this is very, very, very strong. Alright, there's Force of Will. This is tense. That is a Nethergoyf. It's a 2-turn clock. I play this as a land so that any 2-drop creature I draw is played around Daze. I need a live draw next turn. I am at 4. Boseiju is not it. I am literally dead. GG. I feel like this hand doesn't do anything, and it doesn't do anything slowly. Like, I can try to send a whole bunch of fetch lands to the graveyard in hopes of bringing this back, but I just, like, don't interact with my opponent or start doing anything offensive at all. Sure. Keep Daze, pitch Brainstorm, keep 3 lands and 2 threats, question mark? Or do I just get rid of Oculus since it's not online anytime soon? This is just a much more powerful card than Endurance. I could also get rid of Daze and attempt to play closer to an on-curve game. I'll lead on Misty in case I decide that I want to surveil. Another Polluted Delta Gamer and a Ponder. I don't know what I am looking for yet with a Brainstorm. It is possible that I should just play Brainstorm purely because I have a bunch of 2-mana cards that I need to hit. Or rather that I could hit, and my turn 2 gets a lot better. I think I'm just not going to do that. That's exactly the sort of thing that I was talking about, but we naturally drew it, so that's nice. I will just pass here. My opponent's an Orcish Bowmaster deck. I don't like my hand. This is fine. We are in bug colors. I think I'm fine grabbing 2 basics. So 1 island, 1 forest, and throwing down Ice-Fang Coatl. Taking my redraw immediately. It is another Ice-Fang Coatl. And potentially just Endurance my opponent's graveyard if I need to be thinking about Murktide Regent. I can also just play another one of these, maybe after Brainstorming. Like, this is a safe time to Brainstorm. Bowmaster is down. I also don't know if my opponent is just a combo deck yet. I think accordingly, I will just make a land drop and send in for 1 and go from there. 18. All right. Needle points more towards tempo now. There is Bowmasters. Let's try to find a counterspell for that. That sticking would be very, very bad for me. None of those are counterspells. I can get 1 card deeper by casting another Brainstorm. So, bam, bam. Second Brainstorm. Did not succeed. Let's bury Ice-Fang Coatl and then redraw something else. And I will end up losing Ice-Fang Coatl here. And probably also losing a tropical island in process. Yep. I am interested in using Endurance to kill Orcish Bowmasters in combat. And then playing an Oculus around a Daze. Surveil land. Keep their card. Everybody's coming to party. I will get a trop and attempt to kill Bowmasters. I've at least made it to play with my creature. Oh, hot damn. Better than expected here. All right. Land drop in 15. Tempt Oculus. Will it work? Opponent has 6 cards in hand, so it feels like the answer to that should be no, but here we are. I don't know that this has a significant impact on the game. I'm just going to hold this to potentially, like, Brainstorm away or whatever. We'll manifest some dread. This is, like, a surprisingly low amount of interaction from my opponent on 6, now 7 cards. I don't know what the fuck happened with their hand. Like, I don't know if there was just all clunkers over there or what. That was a little strange. Some alarm bells are going off in the back of my head, just kind of thinking, like, is my opponent doing something weird? We saw Wasteland. Kind of indicates tempo. But if my opponent, like, randomly has Daze Undoing combo in their deck or something weird like that, that would explain how their hand could get really, really clunked up. So I am into this. I am into thing that can copy Orcish Bowmaster and this to kill Bowmasters. My crazy person strategy was board out Brainstorm and trim Daze. I think I'm okay with running that back. Brainstorm's a bad card. We all know it. Why put it in your blue deck? In all seriousness, just like let's be clear. Brainstorm is like busted, right? It just so happens that my deck is like this super niche dirtle pile that is incredibly, incredibly bad versus Orcish Bowmasters. So this is hedging to make something that is very, very strong against my deck slightly worse. Okay. We have a pile of value cards and lands to cast them. I am a-okay with this. I can also like potentially feed 1 Birthing Ritual to a Thoughtseize or Daze and not super care about it, so that's nice. Dismember is an okay draw. There will be some question of when do I actually cast that. Rhombical Island comes down. This is weird timing. I think my opponent has a Stifle. Like, to fetch prior to that Ponder, I think means I have Stifle, and I am trying to never drop the Stifle. I'm going to try not to fetch with this Misty Rainforest, I think. Or, like, similarly, not just fire off a Wasteland. This is a bit of a read, and if I'm wrong, the cost is very, very high. But that's a super strange play pattern for my opponent to take if they don't have the Stifle. There is Boseiju. Yeah, I'm good with this current situation. I'm just gonna keep making land drops here. I am not taking any damage, and I'm probably the deck with the significantly better late game. Stifle being stuck in my opponent's hand might have been like the sort of bad card that they just couldn't cast last game. Yeah, that's fine. So, yeah. Veil of Summer. Oh no. Yeah, so you can defend that card, but then I get to fetch 2 lands around Stifle. Deal. Do I need to do the second one immediately? Would I brainstorm if I drew it? I don't think I would brainstorm if I drew it. Alright, you are hexproof. It's a shame I don't have an Ice-Fang Coatl in particular. So let's do a thing that can redraw and potentially give me another land drop. Phantasmal Image is a hot draw. It's also immediately castable. I think there's a good chance this gets dazed, but if it doesn't, sick. Ooh, it doesn't. Goyf? Goyf. I think it's like surprisingly close between the Goyf and the Coiling Oracle for what it's worth, though, because any removal spell is going to kill this due to the sacrificing clause that this has. So it's possible that I should just like take my value off of the Phantasmal Image, chump block with it, and move on with my life. Green mana. More mana. Kaito? Kaito. You can stun my Goyf to kill it. Seems good. I think I am letting my opponent hit with the Goyf in hopes of doing Birthing Ritual crimes. I don't love letting this connect because it will potentially scale this past a 4-5 while also giving my opponent relevant cards. I also could go for another green mana here. Did not get it. Here is Birthing Ritual. Alright, it sticks. I will now warp Quantum Riddler to use my mana. Opponent doesn't like the sound of that. Mystical Dispute. Flare? I can flare, at which point I draw a card for Quantum Riddler and can also sacrifice a better creature at end of turn. I think I just let that go. Give Kaito the love tap, and then we do the Birthing Ritual thing. Alright. We upgrade Coiling Oracle into an Ice-Fang Coatl with Death Touch, and pick up an Oculus, which is a solid creature. It doesn't take too much to kill me here, but if my opponent doesn't kill me in about the next 2 to 3 turns, I will probably overwhelm them. My Flare of Denial is currently awkward. I don't think it's correct to take. Do I counter this so my opponent can't do the 3-power flyer? Yeah. Does not feel good. Kaito is not just growing its power here, so I'm going to take 7. I am at 3. Barrogoyf gets to trigger. Hitting Murktide. Hate that. I think 3 different distinct threats is too much for me to come back from. The early game might have been my opponent holding up Mystical Dispute and or Veil of Summer rather than Stifle. Still feels like Stifle. Maybe that's me being an old head. I get wastelanded. Alright, I think to win, I need Coiling Oracle to hit another green land here. It does not. I suspect that 1 creature is not enough versus these 3 bodies, even if I hit well, which I do not. GG, we can try again. I don't know that I am going to change anything here. This is an okay hand that I will keep. It's probably pretty darn bad versus Orcish Bowmasters. Opponent going to 5. I'm going to make a land drop and just pass. I think I'm going to end up doing a Surveil land at the end of my opponent's turn. I don't think I'm going to get 3 basics online super quickly here. Yeah. Hedge Maze. Dismember's fine. I think since I specifically said that I think my hand is bad versus Bowmasters, I should probably just take that card. And I'll pass the turn here. Opponent can fetch and surveil. I'm just going to cast this now and take my redraw now at a time when Bowmasters can't ping me. Wasteland is okay. Push is fine. Am I fine wastelanding? Kind of fine wastelanding. Take out the Underground Sea. I don't care if this gets countered. I'm just getting one of these out of my hand. Yeah. This is all fine. And we'll warp out, hang out in exile. I would counter this if I had the ability to. Basic Island and a Tameo, which I will dismember. Let's just start with said dismember. Yeah. Cool. I think I'm going to do the same play pattern of before, of just sticking this when Bowmasters is not relevant, and then this gives me something in play already for Flare of Denial if Bowmasters does end up coming down, or if a Barrogoyf or whatever comes down. I'm also getting close to just being able to cast Oculus, which is nice. Ice-Fang could maybe just trade with that in 2 turns. How big is this? 5/5? I'm just... Mystic Dispute is a thing. I'm gonna attempt to counter this, though. Like, if this gets Force of Willed, I just stick an Oculus. And that probably finds me something good. This is a neat draw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. There's Oculus. I've already used my Surveil land, so I don't have any fun trixies there. Oculus finds a card. I can also just, like, trade and then start sticking Quantum Riddlers, and that is, like, valid as well. Would you like to put your Force of Will on top? It'll grow your Murktide. Ooh, they do want to do it. That is just fully what my opponent intends on doing to win the game. But that means that Force of Will is their next draw, and not a relevant card. Alright. Yeah. Copy Oculus. Fetch. Get a land. I know this is currently safe. This is a draw 2. This will get another card out of my hand for the purposes of replaying a Riddler. I will attack for 2 and leave both copies of Oculus back to make it so that their Murktide Regent can't attack. And while their Murktide Regent can't attack, because I know they have Force of Will, I will get to manifest Dread twice, which obviously is pretty strong. Flare of Denial under the second one there. Alright, cool stuff. Oh, nice. Lethal? That looks like lethal. Yeah. 5, 10, plus another 6, 7. Okay, there we go. GG. I think a critical spot was my opponent choosing to put that Force of Will back on top with their Mystic Sanctuary. This is a May, and so by making the choice to do that, they locked in their Murktide Regent decision. I understand wanting to attack in the short term, but when you look ahead to the next turn cycle and that Force of Will does nothing, I think I had 2 flyers visible. I don't remember the exact board state, but I think I had Quantum Riddler already showing. So, like, on the next turn, if nothing else, I can resolve Quantum Riddler. And then, like, I'm accruing Oculus value. I don't know if that was correct to attempt to, like, force winning with this singular Murktide Regent versus just taking another draw and trying to find a new threat or removal. I don't know what their exact deck list is, but, you know, maybe they could have worked towards a Barrogoyf instead or something. GG. Alright, final round, opening hand. Opponent has revealed a Yorion. I have 0 lands in hand. Yikes. I can keep the 1-lander that potentially redraws immediately, trying to get into Birthing Ritual. Then I don't have the creature for it, unless I naturally draw a land with Phantasmal Shieldback. Alright, maybe that is the plan. This is a sketchy 6. Opponent is going to 5. They might not play something in the first couple of turns that I can counter with Flare of Denial for a redraw. Alright, here we go. Ooh, I'm going to deal with that. I think I Flare of Denial, trying to stick Birthing Ritual before I get Wastelanded. Let's take the redraw. All right, and it is going to work. There's a Quantum Riddler as well. I will get another Tropical Island here, so that Daze is live no matter what, and then hopefully next turn I play Quantum Riddler and do Birthing Ritual Crimes. Raucous comes down. Opponent is chilling, which makes me think Felia is a thing. So let's Riddler. There's Felia. I will Daze Felia. Draw my card with Riddler. That allows me to replay the same Tropical Island, so I'm very happy about the timing that my opponent chose to do there. We put the Warp Out trigger on bottom. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Sacrifice this Riddler or this Riddler. Draw a new card. And then the Warp from the previous one resolves. I now have Force of Will pitching an Oculus and can set up like multiple Birthing Ritual based things. Ooh, opponent potentially has blue mana. And then passes the turn. That's like a legitimately okay draw. Yeah? In for 4? So I can play Oculus, and then I don't super have something that I want to sack to Birthing Ritual immediately, or I can play Phantasmal Shieldback and Birthing Ritual. I think I just like better. Yeah. Yeah. Birthing Ritual. Then move to end step and attempt to do crimes. Yeah, this is fine. I will sack the shield back to get a new shield back. Draw a card when that happens. And then hopefully convert this into something good. I will sack it. I'll get Coiling Oracle to just move up the chain. So trigger. There's another Force of Will. Sick. Not another Felia. When it has land drop 4. Their own Quantum Riddler. No. Force of Will. Pitch a Riddler. Alright, opponent is done with me. So we are somewhere maybe in the blue-white Vile Stoneblade ballpark. Unclear how deep down the Death and Taxes hole my opponent has gone. We do also see Marsh Flats here, so it wouldn't be crazy for this to be Esper Vile even. I think I've boarded in Dismember every single round, which is probably telling that the deck is lacking in removal. Days out. Removal spells and image in. That seems okay. Wouldn't be crazy to consider Consign to Memory or Force of Vigor as well. Something to keep in mind there is that my opponent did like mulligan to 5 that game, so that was perhaps not the most typical possible game. Prismatic Vista from my opponent. I'm just going to counter that. I think despite boarding in Phantasmal Image, I'm going to pitch it here. A lot hinges on whether or not I draw an untapped land this exact turn. Okay. I think this means that I get Hedge Maze out of the way now. Say no to Brainstorm. I would like to spike a land naturally. When it has Prismatic Vista, Oculus is mid. I will fetch. I think I will get some basics. And I think I'm just going to do something that cantrips immediately. I want more land here. I do not get more land, unfortunately. All right, cool. No Felia. That's very nice. Third land drop from the opponent, and they are just passing the turn again. I don't think I'm attacking into all this open mana. I'm just going to play Coiling Oracle. I need mana, and I don't... I think if I play Birthing Ritual, it just goes wrong too much of the time. All right, cool. I hit the land drop. That lets me play the shield back. And now, hopefully, I just end up sticking Birthing Ritual and running away with the game. I can be facing down some Quantum Riddler style nonsense immediately, though, so I'm not feeling great yet. All right, we are dirtling. My opponent can get some sort of ephemerate nonsense here. Ooh, Wrath of the Skies is the get. It will blink my Spellseeker. Feels sort of like I just block here. I trade Coiling Oracle for Felia in. Like, I'm going to lose these bodies to Wrath of the Skies eventually anyway. Opponent can now get something else with Spellseeker. Choosing Ephemerate. You've got it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be 6. I can play Birthing Ritual and try to grind value out of these permanents. Or I can just stick Oculus, which I think is what I'm leaning towards. 3, exactly 6 cards, and in for 2 points of damage. And we start trying to do this Oculus dance around Wrath of the Skies, where Wrath of the Skies can't easily get rid of the Oculus itself. Ooh, very nice. I will manifest some dread. Now, since my opponent had that swords, their position is actually quite good. And now that another turn has gone by, Wrath of the Skies eating, the Oculus is slightly more likely as well. I think this is the only safe attack. All right, opponent to 14. I will attempt Birthing Ritual. Boo! All right, I will pass the turn, potentially playing an Endurance, ambush something like Ophelia, which is what I was playing around by not attacking with these. All right, opponent is ephemerating, getting a swords. Sure. And they get one more of these, or a brainstorm. Sure. Land drop comes down. They're getting so much value out of Wrath of the Skies. I hate it. You get Forest here. Yeah. I don't know if I want to put that Ephemerate back in their deck. I think I'm just going to let everything chill in their graveyard and just not choose to do this. I think everybody is coming to party now. I know most of the cards in my opponent's hand, so now they will potentially brainstorm looking for Felia. And if they miss, or maybe even if they hit, they can Swords Endurance. Ooh, they do hit Felia. Okay, sure. I'm fine playing this into Wrath of the Skies. My redraw. It is a Brainstorm. Fine casting that now. I care about my opponent's Caracas. I need the Wrath of the Skies gone before I play this Oculus, I think. I'm just shuffling here. I think I have one last fetchable. Yes, last fetchable. Don't play Oculus. Okay. I hate that my opponent gets to just hang out with this Wrath of the Skies being threatened. It is making my life a lot harder. At the same time, I also don't know if my board is good enough to force the Wrath of the Skies out of my opponent's hand. Their life total is getting low, but like they can Felia and blink the manifested token, and then I'm left with 2 relatively bad creatures. Yeah, same deal. There's Quantum Riddler. Now my opponent can attack Quantum Riddler, or Felia, blink Quantum Riddler for the extra card draw, and then Teferi bounce a thing out of the way. Okay, they're not interested in that. Reasonable. So my opponent now has a pile of cards, and I know Wrath of the Skies is there. All right, well, that's a reasonable Magic the Gathering card. That'll be a draw 2. We'll call that good there. Now I get to F6 my opponent's turns because they have Teferi. My opponent is very much in the driver's seat of this game. Fetch land comes down to clear that Brainstorm. Opponent has a Yorion deck. It still has plenty of fetchables, even if I am now out of fetchables. Wrath time? Solitude. Ugh. So I lose Riddler, and then my opponent can do any number of things to take over the combat step. I think they've got this one. All right, so bounce my token out of play, which does give the Brainstorm back to my hand. But I am now getting attacked for a pretty reasonable amount, and my opponent can Solitude me out of here. I will take the 7, then Solitude comes back, and we'll probably take out Coiling Oracle. Nope. All right, they're going to do the thing that gives me a redraw. All right, so I will start playing cards that cantrip. Wasteland is a thing. I think I am into this. The death touching, like, very, very much matters. This is offline due to Teferi. I think I now need to do this. This will be 6 cards out of graveyard. Oculus triggers in upkeep. Birthing Ritual. I've made the combat steps slightly more awkward for my opponent. Wrath of the Skies for X equals 3 is just a thing here, though. Now, so Caracas that. Yep. If I had 1 more mana, I would have taken care of that problem ahead of time, but I didn't. So there's the X equals 3. That's going to wipe my board. That does fuel the next Oculus, though. I am just taking 7, unfortunately. At this point, dismiss this. Lair of Denial is not good currently. What if we hit a land? If I hit a land, I can do this and this. Maybe I just brainstorm, though. I have a bunch of counterspells that aren't particularly good. This isn't particularly good either. So I am doing this knowing full well that I do not have another land in deck to get. Burrow redraw and Oculus. Can't do 2 copies of Oculus. There's Oculus and life is relevant, I guess. I can get extra value out of Quantum Riddler. That's cool. Spending mana on Uro, not the best until I wasteland that Caracas, which is going to happen right now. Get out of there. And now maybe we get lucky with Oculus and hit something else good. My deck is getting small. All right. Ice-Fang to play. Barry increases his loyalty. His loyalty yet again. Another Caracas. Boo. Another Wrath of the Skies. We are out here fighting the good fight, folks. I'm taking 7. Down to 5. Coiling Oracle. Okay. 4 for Uro. 3 for Oculus. That doesn't get Wasteland in. I think I want to Wasteland Caracas and play Uro. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's Oculus instead. I just want to get cards out of my hand to get maximum Quantum Riddler value. And if I hit a land here, I can Riddler. All right, I did not. But I can Brainstorm and set up Oculus and cheat a Riddler into play. Okay, there's Oculus. All right, pitching Lavinia. Sure. Oh, the bounce does it. Yeah. Okay. I get another game where I'm on the play. GG. Threatening that Wrath of the Skies all game was rough, and then having the second one after I deployed my second wave was brutal. I think I'm just resubmitting as is. I could try to play a couple of Endurances to ambush their creatures and pressure their Planeswalkers. Feels medium. Okay, I have a medium-looking opening hand here that will probably end up getting better. I can pitch one of my top-end cards to Force of Will when I feel like that is appropriate, get a redraw off of Ice-Fang Coatl. Sure. I'm probably just supposed to counter that. I don't really remove artifacts in this deck. Riddler or Oculus. I'm very bad at putting cards into my graveyard right now. I think I'm going to pitch Oculus. Get out. I'll pass my turn here. Hate that. Might be better to Brainstorm. No, I can hit sack a blue creature counterspell here if I play this. Phantasmal Shieldback instead. Alright. That resolves. Yep. That's real bad. Hopefully I draw a land. One card away. Brainstorming to that doesn't do it because I don't have the creature in play, though. Hopefully we don't lose this one to mana. 18. File is going to slowly tick up and ruin my life. Yep. There is Tamiyo. No. Absolutely don't get that. But you can Brainstorm. Alright, no land drop. But no land drop for me either. Quality Magic, both players missing land drops. 17. Unfortunately for me, like my opponent having the active Aether Vial is a deal breaker. You may Brainstorm. Alright, now they have mana. Lol. That's honestly an insult. I don't really get to attack anymore. Now too many things can get flashed in that kill this. Alright, cool. Nothing yet. Alright, opponent doesn't have anything going on, but I just cannot cast anything. That doesn't matter. Opponent's doing something now. Okay, just fetching for no reason. Alright. Now what? I think I'm going to play Shieldback so that I have something better to sacrifice to Flare of Denial. Sure. Opponent unfortunately has Spellseeker or Ephemerate. I'm just going to shut this shit down. Not the way that I wanted to do it, obviously. I don't think I let my opponent do that. Alright. I have so few instants and sorceries in my deck. That is a little frustrating. Alright, so they get to Spellseeker again. And pick up a Brainstorm. And they'll get to do it one more time. They are doing Recruiter of the Guard. Brainstorming in response to get a shuffle. Getting Felia. And then they can now Ephemerate Recruiter instead. I suspect that if I win this, I now win this because my opponent times out, not because I am on track to win the game. We just missed land drops for too many turns. Containment Priest. Containment Priest Felia is now a thing. This is Vile working towards Yorion. 5 cards in graveyard. All right, that'll be 6 cards in graveyard. That's something. So yeah, I'll get another blue source. I can play Oculus and use it to try to get something that trades in combat with Felia. We'll brainstorm in response there. Miss. Put back 2 cards. Be unhappy. I'm so terribly outvalued now. And Teferi, so my counterspells are off. Alright, I at least draw a card out of that. It's, I guess, not the end of the world. I'll take 2. 17. Slightly inconvenient for me, like, wanting to do Riddler things. Now I can, like, brainstorm away the Shieldback that I wanted to shuffle away, but then I'm not doing full Quantum Riddler stuff this turn. Solitude is potentially a thing as well. Let's maybe try to find a Birthing Ritual. Negative. Let's put back the turtles. I will fetch. This is looking like a tropical island. I only have Hedge Maze left off another Flooded Strand if I have one. I think I want this to be a land to play. Let's see. Negative. So this will be a sorcery speed Ice-Fang Coatl instead. It will have Death Touch. Alright. Not succeeding at getting cards out of hand for Quantum Riddler. Alright, my opponent has their own Quantum Riddler. Honestly, that's better than them having Solitude. Setting up Solitude blinking feels terribly problematic. The Fairy goes up. Land drop 4, which means Felia and Containment Priest at the same time is viable. Opponent did have Solitude as well. Hate that. I will absolutely trade bodies when my opponent has Yorion coming. 13. Cameo. 5 cards in graveyard. So I will brainstorm to make that number 6. Okay. Put back 1, 2. Do Oculus. Last turn. I can't force a will because of Teferi. Alright, I think that means I'm out of here. My opponent was outvaluing me anyway, but I planned poorly around that. I could have navigated that last turn slightly better. There's a lot going on there. GG. Let's go ahead and wrap this one up. Overall thoughts on the deck list. I'm not sure what this is supposed to be good at. And by that, I mean, like, what is this deck the Predator for? Because it doesn't seem like we are outvaluing other fair decks. Like, I don't know that we are outvaluing Energy. I don't know that we are outvaluing that deck that we saw in the final round. And it doesn't seem like we have the best combo matchup in the world. We've got Force, Flare, Daze, Force of Negation, Consign. I don't know, maybe the combo matchup is fine. Maybe we saw too much fair stuff today. I very much felt the lack of removal in this deck. If this deck was Bug and I have 4 Ice-Fang Coatls and 4 Baleful Strix, I think it's a different story. If this deck is Bant and I have 4 Ice-Fang Coatl, 4 Swords to Plowshares, I think it's a different story. It felt like I was playing a bunch of bad cards to enable other cards. Like, Coiling Oracle is a little embarrassing by Legacy standards. Phantasmal Shieldback is pretty embarrassing by Legacy standards. And we had a lot, and I mean a lot of games where we did not see or even put into play a Birthing Ritual. And when that doesn't happen, like, these cards are kind of bad. Maybe the deck needed more creatures, like you go down on some number of counterspells to increase your creature count. Maybe the deck needed another color. I feel like this was a close but no cigar league where I think the deck list looks reasonable, and then when you get into actual games, you just find too many problems. Like, we were bad versus sweepers, which is something that I would not have initially anticipated. Maybe the deck can't afford all 3 wastelands. Maybe you have to trim. We absolutely ran out of fetchables in multiple long games. So, like, maybe you don't get a Boseiju, maybe you don't get the other wasteland. Maybe you need a second hedge maze in here to help find things. Or alternatively, maybe if you're going the cantrip route, you play both Brainstorm and Ponder to assemble Birthing Ritual more commonly and set up Birthing Ritual to find the right things. It feels like there is potential here that has fallen a little bit short. Another thing you could do if you go Bug is play Fatal Push. We could also just be the bad guy and play Tamiyo in the spot of Phantasmal Shieldback. That would probably come at the cost of Flare of Denial, though. but like this deck having Tamiyo for the games that it floods out is reasonable. I just don't know if I would want to Birthing Ritual away Tamiyo into Ice-Fang Coatl. Like, is that a thing you want to do, or do you just want to keep the Tamiyo? So I will say that I enjoyed playing this. I think it was a fun league. There was a lot of intricate gameplay, but I do feel like I was fighting uphill. I do not think the juice was worth the squeeze here. And with that, I think I'm going to go ahead and call it a day. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any thoughts about this one, throw them down in the comments below. All right, see ya.